Grand Risings family. Hey Rue Mandela for eternity. Nice to meet you. Coming to you today with a notification. Got a new album coming out March 1st, the day after other people's labeled Black History Month. March 1st, My Ancestors Hero, Volume 1 is dropping. It's a great piece of work. A lot of time, research, effort, late nights, early mornings, all that went into it. So check that out. I'm gonna be with you for these next 28 days, every day, every morning, to A, promote the album, and B, to start a lifelong journey of releasing information and more persons and personalities to reconstruct our consciousness. This is so important. So, My Ancestors Hero, Volume 1. I believe this album is so important because of the intent purpose in which it was written in the first place. My Ancestors Hero, Volume 1 was made to reclaim the culture of all people with African ancestry, to unify us. That's what we need most of all, is to be unified. Now, all peoples with African ancestry, this technically and literally, applies to everybody on the planet. All people around the world with African ancestry. And then start your journey into research. Some of the things that I talk about in the album, it would be damn near impossible for people, let alone my people, to understand, believe, comprehend a lot of the things that I'm saying if we weren't in the age that we're in, the age of information, the age of technology. You must note that I created this album with every single ancestor that wanted us to be great, that wanted to free our minds, and for these next 28 days, these are the people that I'm going to be speaking about. I'll state a name, post a picture, and then do your job. The best knowledge is self-knowledge, self-education. We were not taught this information for a reason. If we were to absorb it, practice it, try to incorporate it into our daily lives, we will transform. This is a fact. We will transform as a people, as a race, as the human race. Throughout my research, I believe the best time on this planet, the best time in history was the time of Kemet, before it was renamed Egypt by the Greeks, who conquered Kemet and called it Egypt. This was a time, stay with me, this was a time where there was no Rome yet. There was a Greece. There were brown-skinned people. There were Chinese people. There were East Indian people. And there were Africans. And the center of knowledge, the center of all things to be known, was in Kemet. So all people around the world would come to Kemet, which was later, 300 years later, named Egypt, came to Kemet to learn from the priests and priestesses who were turning water into wine, who built great temples and pyramids. During this day, peoples from all over the world would come and travel, and this is what they would see. There was much respect for all peoples of the world. Though there were still wars, of course, there was still respect for every culture during that time. For Africans, black-skinned people specifically, there was the utmost respect. And it wasn't only because of the things that we built, it was the things that we were bringing to civilization. Our commodity was not labor. This is what we will transition into. Our commodity was knowledge. And the knowledge didn't go anywhere. We must read. I have so much to learn, but I have learned so much, but I have so much to learn. Any question that you have about the universe, about the whys of the world, our ancestors answered it. I promise you, there hasn't been one thing that has come to mind that I have to refigure out, wonder why this works. I go find the answer in our ancestors' writings. And there was no greater aid than listening to the scholars that I will be talking about this month. These brothers and sisters dedicated their lives to teaching us things that we may have never known, flying all over the world to different libraries, some stealing books like to get this information. But this is a very serious thing. If we ask ourselves what happened during the civil rights movement to have that be the last push for any sort of black unity. There's been nothing since. I don't want to be. But black people, African people, need a leader. Our leaders of the past, Dr. Amos Wilson, great scholar, psychologist, we'll be talking about him tomorrow, would state that we as a people have never asked the black leader, where are you leading us? You know, like, where are we going with this? What are we trying to accomplish? So I thought about it. And if I were to be a leader of the black community, a lot of brothers and sisters respect Malcolm X and have his picture up. Will say that they admire him. But I don't believe that they necessarily understand what Brother Malcolm wanted. And if they do understand, now is the time that we should get together and talk. I will be leading us into nationhood. I will be leading us into unification, unity. I'll be waking us up to many truths that we have avoided. What happened since the Civil Rights Movement, where it seemed the fight stopped, the fight died. Us, our parents. Now granted, it was snuffed out. People were being assassinated. We need to lay low for 40 years. Understandable. But that would not be the last time that we fought. This country is very young. 200, 300 years. We ruled Spain as the Moors for 800 years. 800 years. As you know, Spain is right above Africa. Boats ride across the Mediterranean. But I only stated that to get understood. 300 years is not a long time. We have to change our frame of mind. We have been taught who to pray to, We've been taught who God was. We've been taught what is success. We have been taught what is health. But were we taught by us? No. If you were taught by your mother, if you were taught by your grandmother, if you were taught by your great-grandmother, were you taught by us? No, because who were they taught by? The job of our generation is to relearn everything and then pass down what we relearned. Do not pass down anymore what you learned from your mom, from your grandmother. About our past, about our history. I'm not saying don't listen to them about, life issues. Elders are very important to guide us. In the best direction, but without a consciousness for what is right and wrong. As Dr. Martin Luther King said before he was assassinated, 3 months before he was assassinated, I believe I have led us into a burning building. He was speaking about the civil rights movement and the integration. So again, My Ancestors Hero, Volume 1. Coming out March 1st. Y'all make sure y'all go get that. It'll be on all platforms. Be making videos to it. Everything. 13 songs. It's done, out the way. Working on the next album, Book of Spells. Another 13 songs right now. But understand, I'm very serious about this. And as they say, only time will tell. Come with me. Come with me. This will be a great journey. And we'll do it together. You'll see me grow. It may encourage you to grow. I will always state my sources of information, why I'm doing things, why I think like this, why anything and everything. I want to point you in the direction of knowledge. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, leave them in the messages. I will try to make content to answer some of your questions, but I'm pretty much staying on a strict message. And that is simply to bring us back to greatness. Brother, sister, I will not argue with you in public. will argue with you privately. But that's just so we can get on the same page and move forward. It's necessary. Constructive confrontations will be necessary in the struggle. We won't see the end of this, but we must start a ripple that will touch the future generations. I am Heru Mandela. Nice to meet you.